Nova Esports finding themselves on the blue. Ace1 will take up the red. Richter and Florentino are the quick first 2 bans away, followed up with an L2 by Nova Esports.
This is an incredibly fast ban phase compared to Europe.
LATAM does everything faster.
Welcome to Latin America, Envision, where they do not care. And what do you know? You're swinging your hands back and forth because Varus taken off the board by Ace1, which now leaves an opportunity for the Sephira as a first lock for Nova.
And they'll do that. SA overall will be very happy with it, but Ace1 can counter that in time. They do like the Liliana if they can get it, and I'd look for that to maybe be the 3rd pick in the cycle. For now, they need to prioritize getting something powerful onto Fran, either in the bot lane or the jungle.
I would say even go as far as deny Shaka at a net, because on the previous 2 matches they had on head-to-head in between these 2 teams, a net was both on Shaka in both of those games. So I think denying a net off of that support role for Nova is definitely something that they can utilize a great effect.
A full cycle here for Ace1. They were considering a lot of potential in this sideline. And I'm not really sure I agree with that. If you are going to draft sideline this early on, make it an Omen or a Superman, something that Surmaster will miss. The Omen is probably the best pick because you can't run Superman into an Omen, so it's a ban and a pick simultaneously.
Well, it gets locked in immediately, as well as the net being denied away from Shaka. Envision keeping your streaks up and alive from the prediction standpoint. Nova now have an opportunity to figure out what direction they want to go, as it seems to be a potential Roxy. She does get locked in. They had a Tulin hover, which could put Sephira in the support position, but instead it looks like Baldum seems to be the lock-in for Nova Esports.
Baldum works really well actually with Roxy, because Baldum puts down the ultimate and Roxy just runs around with fire and just creates chaos amongst the rank of Ace1. I actually legitimately like their composition here.
This is kind of a grouped engage composition, and we do see Ace1 drafting a mage as their 3rd draft, so I was right about that, but I was wrong about what it would be. It's not a Liliana, instead they go for the Tula.
Then they immediately lock in the Lindis as the first ban away. Don't want to deal with that devastating hero in the jungle. Nova Esports now taking their time on these next 2 bans. Cricknack seems to be the case.
Both teams focusing the jungle. This could lead to somewhat disastrous results, as we'll be kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel pretty quickly.
Cricknack locked in.
For Ace1, I'd be watching the sideline characters, things like Wisp, Telenas. Fran wants to be able to get one of those. The Violet ban takes away the 2nd marksman you could run in the jungle.
Now, Nova Esports has 1 more ban away, Talanis, so the side lane marksman gets taken away, which means that Ace1 has an opportunity to lock themselves in a quick jungler.
If this isn't Wisp or something like it, maybe a Yorn, I am alarmed and upset.
I would say Morin works really well. Just switch Morin into the jungle role. Morin has an incredibly fast farm in the jungle as well.
No, I wouldn't be looking for jungle. I'd be looking for Fran in the sideline. You could run marksman jungle, but specifically playing to Fran's strengths, I would love to see him take that sideline more and take that sideline Wisp right now, because they're so powerful and there is no real counter over on Nova.
Yeah, Nova definitely has a kind of a thinking point here and what they want to choose after Ace1's pick as well, because they have to...
Oh, there it is. The Valheim gets locked in.
I'm right, but I feel so sad. Valheim is the side lane ADC, but he's not a good one. You aren't going to have the infinite scaling into the late game that something like a Morin or a Wisp would give you, and instead you've got a fall-off at the midpoint of the game. The best you can hope for is it guarantees you a lot of stun, but against such a strong engage composition like we talked about from Nova, kind of almost a death ball, they're going to try and group up and rush him down. I really feel the Valheim will just get overwhelmed.
And Wonder Woman is going to help with that lockdown a lot more, considering the ultimate that she provides, as well as now seeing where Nova is going to go. 18 still seconds left remaining.
Well, they have to be looking for either an ADC or another side lane. But side lane wouldn't make a lot of sense because they already have 3 melee characters. They would optimally want one of the ADCs coming through. So they're going to switch up. Rourke is going to be the lock-in, as it seems, with... Oh, hello.
Like
no? Rourke and Ryoma
is going to be in the end.
I like that jungle. Rourke, sideline, Ryoma. That gives them the Rourke for the burst damage against the front line. There's a lot of squishies over there for Ace1, and that's what Rourke does really, really well. He can, like, 2-shot most of these characters, 1-shot with his ult, And that means that they need something in the front line for this final draft, and that's going to force them to draft Wonder Woman. And if I'd said that a little bit faster, I would have sounded so smart.
Almost, but not, unfortunately, for you today, my friend. 30 seconds still left remaining. They have an opportunity to change if they want, but Wonder Woman does look to be the best in this composition.
It's got to be either Wonder Woman or Zephyrs because they don't have any tank, and into the Rourke, they need something to stop that from full engaging.
Yeah, Wonder Woman has been their go-to character in terms of drafting in the previous games as well that they've played across the Valor series, so would make a lot of sense. Not like something like Crashed, which would go from the hands of existence.
Jungle Crashed would be rough, but I'd believe in it.
Well, they can switch Omen jungle.
Let's not do those experiments. I like this draft from Nova. I feel like Ace1 kind of got flummoxed halfway through. Maybe they went in with a good plan, but it all went kind of sideways once the Valheim came out instead of something more damagey for Frank.
So now, both of these have been locked in. Nova Esports, though, putting Sir Muster on that Rourke. I want to talk about this a little bit because I do think that Rourke has been one of the pocket picks in Latin America. He has been picked out, I think, 3 or 4 times in the last few weeks, which gives the members of Nova Esports a little bit of an X factor if Sir Muster can show up, which we have seen him do time in and time again. Oh, no, they swapped over No Mercy. Never mind. Well, all right.
It should be No Mercy running this jungle Rourke. That's all about the burst damage.
I'm getting Season 2 Sir Muster jungle flashbacks. So.
Yeah, it's okay. We're back in Season 3, though, and that means you're safe. It's just the Wonder Woman jungle meta.
Where's Suijay? I just need Suijay.
I can't wait for him to be upset about this, by the way. Legitimately can be my favorite thing.
Yeah, gonna call him on your phone to hang out with D2.
I assume they're in the same place,
Maybe.
but I don't really know.
You can merge calls now. It's 2019. Mind blown. Game 1 picks and bans have been completed. On paper, Nova Esports looks like they obviously have the better composition, but envision if you're Ace1 and you're sitting on this roster coming into game, what are you going with?
Well, I mean, Ace1 definitely has a game plan in mind, but it's just kind of all around kind of style. So I don't see a definite strategy that they want to be utilizing. But at the same time, I kind of get what they were going for, which is kind of a team fight mobility, because Valheim, once you start racking up those stacks, will get incredibly fast. And with the Clave Sanctity as well, once you start critting, that will give you an extra movement speed to just fly around the fight. But just they're just all around, in my opinion.
Well, we're going to have to figure out what happens as the Latin American region begins with our first match of the day, Nova Esports versus Ace1.
Indeed it is. Nova, they're staying in the middle for now. Sir Muster with that Ryoma putting down a little bit of a poke up against Ace there. But nothing out of the ordinary just yet from these two teams.
In order to keep this team alive, the Wonder Woman of Flex needs to go massive. Now, you were talking about that side lane Valheim. These days, a lot of what we see... Oh, that's battle ready. Justly.
Yeah, he's going to get caught out there. There's going to be the stun coming through from Sefera as well. And Shaka putting out those auto attacks, but he does flicker away in the nick of time. Flex is going to be on the retreat as dash forward from No Mercy. He's going to put a little bit of damage onto Eben. Oh, what?
He threw the lasso before he got scooped, and he got scooped away, but then he Indiana Jones'd his way back into the game.
What? What?
All right. Cross-temporal lassos. Anyway, oh, never mind. Fusok's called out as well. Shaka, you're nuts.
That was one strong rope indeed, but Fusok has to get away from this fight as Ace1 now on the back foot. They have to defend their own jungle. They cannot let Nova take it for free as they're going to go for the fight there. Flex in the forefront of the fight. Fusok dealing all sorts of damage as that Omen. The red buff was secured, I believe, by Wonder Woman there as Nova. They're going to back away from this one. Still no kills going down.
Okay. I'm going to try and talk about the bot lane now.
Oh, there we go.
Frad's doing a really good job playing the Valheim, but the number one problem is that the Valheim these days isn't played for damage. You don't build Club Sanctity. Instead, you prioritize being able to get a little bit more stun and CC, oftentimes building into Frostcape with Hydrogia's Edge coming through in the latter half of the build. That's going to create problems because the Valheim's not doing as much damage as they need to in the team fights. Done.
That was a fast segment. You need to do those more.
Well, speaking of, Fran's in trouble.
Yeah, Fran was in trouble. Did flicker away. That means that's going to be down for the count for another 90 seconds. for the side of Nova Esports to capitalize on. As Ace, they're going to go forward here, as all is going to be... As Ace going to be caught out, he's going to go down. There's the stun coming through from Flex as well. Oh, the Abyssal Dragon does finally end up going down, and Ace1 did get it in the end there, as now Baldum is going to go down as well. Ebudy's putting all sorts of damage down onto Sir Master, and one more kill will go down in this fight. That's going to be no mercy being no more here, as Ace are looking for the middle tower.
That's actually a massive advantage taken by Ace1. They're not normally relied upon to win team fights, but they're so good at macro, the odd one team fight win, they get the Abyssal, they get the mid tower, and they get the enemy jungle. That's a massive early game lead over to them.
That is indeed, as Nova, they're now on the defensive back foot. They're on their own jungle, rotating in people just to secure the red buff. But I would like Ace1 to keep the pressure up, keep putting the pressure down, and keep pulling everything that they have in terms of what they have in the tank, because now, once they have that lead, they can go for more, and if they secure themselves the opposing jungle, that means that the enemy is going to be left without resources to capitalize on.
So much of what Ace1 have done looks good so far, but I just hesitate to call them in the lead of games these days, because they're just not good at winning these late game team fights. And we've seen a couple times they do really, really well, and then aren't able to convert the late game team fights in their favor.
Yeah, that could be the case, but now we saw under a little bit of a rotate onto the top lane by Nova coming through, and Zero is going to be looking for the jungle secure, but he does not get it. Sir Master goes down onto the hands of Chula, and their Flex is going to be the forefront. There's the stun coming through on the hands of Braces of Submission. Shaka's on the forefront as Baldum, and he gets pulled back. You're not going anywhere, Baldum, says Ace, and they're going to be able to clean him up as well. Ebody is going to be an ultimate streak. 3-0-2 is going to be his scoreline, putting down those Iron Blasts and Thunderbirds everywhere.
We've spent so long watching Ebody struggle, I'd almost forgotten what it looks like to see him succeed. That's two devastating fights in a row in his favor.
Well, that's Valheim running away from that fight there on the bottom side of the map. Blitzblade now finished on Valheim. That's going to give him the lightning strike on the auto attack, as well as a little bit of attack speed. So that's going to help him out in stacking the passive up, so that he will have the fast movement speed that he requires to maneuver around these fights.
I absolutely love getting to see the Tulan diving into the fights, but you're right, you need that Valheim to be able to come through and do damage. That's something I highlighted at Insane Speed earlier. You need to see the Valheim building towards damage in order for this composition to work, and that's not something we've seen a ton of. The Blitzblade is a typical first item because it gives you extra wave clear. Now that he's built that, if our next item is Frost Cape or something towards that more defensive position, I begin to lose faith in the mid to late game of this composition, because at some point the Valheim's damage will fall off and then he'll be useless.
Yeah, Valheim does need to go full squish if they want to scale into that late game, at least have a chance of scaling into the late game, so to say. But for now, I'm looking at the mid game being on the back of Ebody, because he needs to carry the mid game and the transition onto the bottom.
Flex.
As we're now onto the top lane, we're going to have an initiation coming through. Wonder Woman is being pulled back. There's the ultimate coming through. Shaka gets stunned up. There's Flux going forward. Justly moves forward with the ultimate. No mercy. Is putting down all sorts of damage, but that is all that's going to happen, because Ace is going to back away from this one. They do not want to go for a dive.
No Mercy arrives, drops that Determination ultimate, and Ace1 think otherwise of their plans. That was the arrival of the Rourke. He's scaling well in the jungle. Watch out, this could get scary towards the late game.
Well, 0-8 finds himself amidst 3 enemies there. Justly gets the last hit, but that's going to open the tower for Ace.
Shaka trying to get the wave clear, does get it with the Wild Stomp. He'll just need to back off, but he's held the tower.
He has indeed, but there's still the pressure of Valheim going for the top side of the map. Meanwhile, Nova has put a defensive posture down onto the middle to defend the mid tower and the bottom.
We do see that Frost Cape coming through. This will be the stun-focused Valheim build. We've seen a ton of that. Frost Cape gives him a lot of slows, but it means that this isn't going to be a damage Valheim as you had hoped, Marek, and it will mean that when we get to the mid-game, you have to start worrying, because Fran is going to start struggling to get kills. This is his golden moment.
Yeah, indeed, it will be the mid-game. Sir Muster is going to be coming in. There's the stun coming through, and Spectral Ire to finish things off as well. Sir Muster gets the kill onto Valheim after Valheim did get a kill onto Shaka, so it kind of equals out there.
And there's no way for them to get revenge. They're going to lose that tower up top. The only hope is that they clear mid, but No Mercy's doing a good job defending that.
Bottom lane, Omen is putting pressure down onto the bottom side tower as well, as the side of Ace1 is going to be looking to rotate in there. SA, he's going to be caught out here if he stays a little longer. Fusock has taken too much damage from the tower. He's gone low, which means that's going to be the kill onto him. SA is able to clean that one up. E-Buddy is in a lot of trouble now. Is low HP. SA putting down all sorts of slows. There's a Thunderbird as well, but there's no escape. E-Buddy goes down, and the shutdown streak goes onto the hands of Shaka.
And this is what I was worried about. You can't start looking at a good early game and saying Nova are out of it, because they are so good at staying in games, and Ace1 are struggling to win team fights now.
So are they the Vitality of Latin America?
Oh my god, I remember those Vitality games. No, Nova are not the Vitality of Latin America because they're much more consistent. They bog down games. The Vitality of Season 2 that you're referencing with a French roster who would consistently, or Season 1 I suppose, who would consistently just lose the entire game and then win from behind their high grounds. This team doesn't do that. Nova do a much better job of slowing down the pace of play when they're losing and evening things up before it gets that far, as you can see by the current standings.
Indeed, it is 3-7 the scoreline for now, but Nova is doing all the right steps to get the game back into their favor. That's another tower going down, and that equalizes the objectives. What is going to be in terms of towers? So now the only goal difference coming from the 3 Abyssal Dragons, as well as 4 kills that are in favor of Ace1.
Yeah, Ace1 still have the kill lead, but Nova Esports is just out macroing them, being able to push across the map, using much better team coordination to keep Ace1 at bay.
They are keeping Ace1 at bay indeed, as Fusock now. He's going to miss the ultimate. That means Shaka's going to be able to dash back into him, and he's going to be pulled back. Ace1, they still want to fight the round this Abyssal Dragon, but Jasly's going down low. He's going to go down. Sir Muster picks up the kill there. As Flex now still going for the Abyssal Dragon. That's a little bit of a mistake. He puts down the ultimate finally, but Nova, they've taken too much. SA gets the kill, and Abyssal clean up as well. Nova, they get too much off of this fight. Thunderbird does connect, but it doesn't get the kill. No Mercy is going to go low. Finally, Fran comes in, and he's going to be able to get the kill as well. SA puts down the Tides of Life, finally healing up himself a little bit. Oh, but the damage, it gets turned around. 0-8. He's doing a lot of damage himself, but there's the buckshot coming through, and E-Buddy is going to be able to help Fran secure this fight after what could have been a devastating loss.
It turns out you don't need big damage if you can set up for the follow-through of E-Buddy. But also, this Valheim's built Club Sancti. That's the first time I've seen it in a while.
Well, TJ, do you remember what I said pre-game?
Yeah, and I thought there's no way he's right. There's no way we see a Valheim build Club Sancti in 2019.
There's no way this Platinum 1 guy that plays solo queue ranked knows what he's talking about, right?
Hey, don't talk about your rank like that.
Well, Enraged, the Abyssal Dragon has spawned in, and there's the ball of ultimate coming through. Ace now, they're looking for the objective for now, but Nova has recognized this. Flex is gonna go low, but that was huge. But that was a good ultimate. Nova, they get pushed apart. No Mercy gets taken down. Nova have lost 3, and that's a huge win for the side of Ace1.
The double ult, bracelet stun from Flex, followed up instantly by Jasly's Hurricane Wall. Nova are stunned, repositioned, and stunned again for their slaughter.
Nova has indeed been slaughtered here at 0-8 now, going forward, trying to get the ultimate off, but there's the initiation from Ace1. SA gets called, and he's channeled, but the one falling is gonna be 0-8. The middle high ground tower, the tier 3, is gonna go down. Ace1, they clutch the game back into their favor once more. It's been a kind of a change of hands here in this game for many times here. Will Ace be able to hold on to this time around?
I legitimately think, oh, they're going for the Enraged Abyssal. Nova are pushing quite quickly to contest. They cannot get this Abyssal.
They indeed can't enrage Abyssal Dragon. It's going to be pulled out of the pit and it's going to reset in just a second here. But Nova, they're looking for a much more crucial objective. Rourke on the Dark Slayer now. Will the side of Ace1 find this one out? That's a crucial moment. Nova, they need this objective. 10,000 health on it. Annette comes in, spots this one. Frag comes in, but he doesn't get it. No Mercy gets it, but he's going to go down. Channels the Drake as well. It's a little bit of a misplay. SA, he's going to put the Tides of Life down, securing himself an extra second to stay alive, but he can't do it. He's gonna go down. Shaka now on the retreat in here as Ace1, they are looking to secure and rage the Abyssal Dragon finally.
Fran dives into the middle of that fight, focusing down the Rook before he can channel his ultimate, and he does find a stun, but it's not enough to lock down No Mercy until Jastly comes through with the Hurricane Wall, stunning him up just as the Valheim stun wears off. Now they've got an Abyssal Dragon, they shut down the Dark Slayer take, and Nova Esports are in trouble.
Yeah, they are. They channeled the Drake as well, which is gonna get taken down here by the rotation of Omen. That should be the Drake not being in this plane of existence anymore after Omen's being done with it, but
that's an awfully nice way to say that.
Well, Omen has a Death Embrace, right?
Sure. It's a nice little death hug.
Yeah.
So, oh, Fran, you're in trouble. Or not. Nice flicker away. I do think Fran made this call kind of by the seat of his pants because the rest of this build looks pretty normal. It was the Cloud Sanctity and Venomous Tooth that came out of the ordinary, and I think he made them because he noticed that he was a lot of gold ahead. He said, oh wait, I could actually be doing some serious damage.
Yeah, that could have been the thought process behind his build. Finally, we do have Omen cleaning up the Drake, and now bottom line, Ace is looking to push the tower as well. Sir Master gets picked up by the second ability of Annette there. So Cuffs coming through, but Nova, they're holding on for dear life for now. Roxy up in the top lane, having now 1v1 matchup against Omen.
You know what really hasn't showed up this game? No Mercy. The previously stellar jungle for Nova has completely failed to appear here. This is a really disappointing performance, actually, from the Rourke. He's currently 0-4-3, and the second lowest on his team in gold.
Yeah, Ace is indeed not showing any mercy there, as Ace is going to be pushing for more. In terms of the towers here, has No Mercy, is gonna fall low. There's a Thunderbird, but Shaka tanks that one up. Doesn't want his teammate to die, but meanwhile, bottom lane, we did have Fusok locking down 0-8. He can't get out. The ultimate was popped by Roxy as well, but he cannot drag Fusok back under the tower because of the Death Beacon coming too.
All of Ace1 concentrate down on the bottom lane, and they've caught 0-8 out.
Yeah, 0-8's going down to the low HP. Baldum has put an ultimate, but it's complete with 0-8 has gone down. Shaka is the next to fall. He did buy ages before he went down, but it's not going to have a huge impact. No Mercy. Still dealing there. He gets caught out. The lasso is there. The double stun from Wonder Woman for good measure. Tides of Life is going to do what? The Thunderbird, he flickers just to kill a person. He didn't even channel it on. What is this coming through from Ebody to Tulin? Just a phenomenal play coming through, and now the minions are gonna crash down onto the bottom tower as well.
That was one of the best Tulin plays I've ever seen, and it's left Sir Buster with an impossible task.
He's not gonna be able to do it. He's gonna go down, and Ace1, they are gonna be able to lock the game one of this best of 3 series. What a performance on the hands of Ebody's Tulin.
That flicker ult at the end was legitimately